evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Kicking It Back with Matt. Today we got a brand new guest on, Billy Caruso, head coach of Brick Memorial Women's High School Soccer, for pretty much known as BC. BC, how are you, buddy?
Good. Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Cool, man. You ready to kick it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. First thing I got to ask you is, do you have a specific soccer team that you root for?
I don't.
No?
Now I'm all over the place.
Not Red Bulls, NYFC?
When the kids were little, I tried to be a Red Bull guy to get them because I felt like too, like if I'm not watching MLS, like what kind of people are watching MLS if the soccer guys aren't? So when the kids were little, we were definitely on the Red Bull fan. We went to games and whatnot. But do I watch enough soccer? Probably not. I'm watching football, baseball, basketball, soccer. I'm watching everything. So,
any plans to go to the World Cup next summer?
I'd like to. We'll see what the prices are. I went in '94. I caught a couple games, preliminary games, and then I actually saw the Italy semifinal at Giant Stadium in '94, and we paid $250 for that. How many years ago was that?
Yeah.
So 30. We'll see what the prices are going to be.
That was against Bulgaria, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2-0. And both goals, we were right behind the goal in the end zone, and both goals ended up being right in the goal. I was an adventure of a lifetime that I still talk about now, how many years later.
Real quick, I don't know if you know this, but if you are interested in going, in order to be eligible to get tickets, you've got to register on FIFA's website.
Oh, okay.
Because they're controlling everything.
Yeah.
So they're doling out the tickets. I did it yesterday. You got to put in like what state you're in. You got to provide a little bit of information to them. But once you're registered and go, because there's like a lottery starting, and I believe the first lottery date is September 10th.
Oh, okay. I'll get on that.
Yeah, so like if you are, a lot of people don't know it, and they're actually not even broadcasting it. Who knows why? But yeah, check that out if you're interested in going. So usually everybody, we talk EPL, the Prem, Champions League, some MLS, all international soccer. We've done some college stuff. We've never done high school before. I used to coach with BC in travel soccer years ago. We coached my daughter, his daughter, had some really good success. We had a lot of fun. And I just thought it would be really cool to change it up. Guy is a legend in New Jersey. He's a legend at Brick Memorial.
Legend in my own mind.
Well, you're a Hall of Famer, man. It doesn't get much better than that. So let's go way back because I don't know the whole story. I just know some of the history from the times we shared on the top. How long have you been the head coach?
This is my 32nd year, my 35th year in the program. I was the freshman coach for 3 years. So this is season 32.
And it's always been girls?
Well, when I first started, girls actually played in the spring and boys were in the fall. So I came back. I was coach. When I graduated from Stockton and finished playing there, I stayed 2 years as assistant coach. And then I came back to coach high school boys soccer. And then in the girls, it was honestly like I had never wanted to be a girls soccer coach. I mean, that wasn't my goal in life to be a girls soccer coach. So I started coaching the boys, and the girls was a job that was available in the spring, and it was fun. I got to coach soccer, make a couple $1,000s, 5 minutes from my house. I went to Brick Memorial, so it was the perfect job. And then, so that was 92, 95. I got the head job, and then in 96. Freehold Township school districts decided to sue the Shore Conference, an equal rights type of thing, where girls didn't have the same opportunity because the Shore Conference was playing in the fall and the rest of New Jersey was playing the girls were playing Shore Conference in the spring, the rest of New Jersey in the fall.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah. And it's funny because the Shore Conference started girls high school soccer. They started in the spring. And then everyone else came back and played in the fall.
Any idea why?
No.
Why? No.
I would think referees and fields, because that was when we decided we were going. The Shore Conference was going over to the fall. That was our first concern. Is there going to be enough reps? Is there going to be enough field? Like, is going to be sharing the field's going to be difficult? So that is my guess why they did it. Otherwise, I have no idea. Before my time, I was a
Yeah,
little.
and obviously Freehold won that battle.
I don't think it ever happened because the people that I know that were more involved in it than I was. I was just an up and coming new coach. We're told that like the NGSI was told there was no way they could ever win that case, so Freehold just had to go through with it and not even actually. I don't think it actually even went to court. They just made a decision to change it because there was no way they wouldn't have won.
So roll off your tongue the accomplishments of your program and what you've done there in these 32 years. State titles,
All right.
sectional.
So we won 4 state championships. It's obviously the big one. Twice USA Final 20 poll. 1 point we were number 1 in the nation. Funny with high school sports though, we were number 1 in the nation. And 19-0 going for a 4th straight championship. We lost. We completely fell out of the poll. We went from 1 to out of the poll. I don't know how that happens, but anyway, sectional championships. We've won 7, either Central Jersey or South Jersey sectionals, and I kind of 12 or so divisional championships.
It's
and
up there.
2 short conference tournament championships.
Nice. That's great. So I put on my show card today, like not only the success that you've had with this program and what you've done all these years to build all these winning teams and to build this winning culture, but I know for you, it's just more about the winning. It's the actual culture of a team, of a family, alumni. You want everybody that's been on that team, been through that program to always be a part of Brick Memorial Mustangs.
Yeah. I like the word. I use the word culture because that's what we kind of think it is, and we talk about culture and program. And you said family, and we have a saying, "Family forever," and that's kind of we use it a lot. And we have kids coming back all the time. We have alumni coming back. When I played in high, we won a state championship when I played at Brick Memorial in 1983, and it absolutely just made. Never mind winning the state championship, making varsity that year changed my life. Like it gave me. All of a sudden, like I always loved soccer. It was always my passion, my first thing. But when I made varsity year in high school soccer, it taught me about like team and family and being something bigger than the actual team. And when I think of high school, my first thoughts are Brick Memorial boys soccer. And then I wanted to create that. And that was my goal for every girl that ever played at Brick Memorial. I want, when you think back to high school, I want your first thought to be Brick Memorial girls soccer. And then you can remember the parties and graduation and the classes and all that fun stuff. But I want you, when you think of Brick Memorial High School, I want you to think about Brick Memorial girls soccer and how special it was. And that really is our goal, to make it special. Winning the championships are awesome. And if you interviewed me 20 years ago, I would have had a much different take on this. Being a guy I'm not ready to retire yet, but I'm obviously I'm beyond the back 9. And so, and it means much, much more now to me, being the family and seeing, and we have our alumni game every year, and we had, between the boys and the girls, we had 60 people here. Last year, we had like close to 80, 90 people, and seeing the girls that played for me coming back with their kids, it's that to me is way more special than any championship we can ever win. Seeing these kids that were just either great kids or even screw up kids and coming back and being just great moms. And that is the most rewarding part of this job, is seeing the girls come back as moms.
I mean, you've even been to former players' weddings, have you not?
Yeah, that's a great time. It really is.
And that's got to make you feel proud, special.
Incredible.
To remember you like that. That means you had like a significant lasting impact on their lives.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a crier. Every time I get invited back to to a former player's wedding, I'm a crier. The last wedding I went to, I don't know if it was the last one, but one of the weddings I went to, Annie McCarthy, who's now the Wall head coach. At the end of every one of our games, we played a song, "Time of Your Life" by Green Day.
Green Day,
so,
yeah.
I had no idea it was coming, and then they's like, can BC come out to the dance floor? And then we went out to the floor, and I did a dance with Annie like almost like a father-daughter dance to the time of your life. I was so embarrassed because I was bawling the entire time. And I was like, I'm like in her shoulders, like I just don't want everyone to see me crying. But it was that was one of the greatest moments of my life. I never mind like just being invited to one, but having like the player coach dance at her wedding was an unbelievable honor.
Now, is that the song that you play for when the seniors have their last game and you have them go out to midfield?
Yeah. Yeah, we play it every single game, the last game. So it's actually playing when the seniors come out to midfield to kiss the ground at our last home game.
So
So
tell me about that tradition. Tell me what it is. How did it come about to be? How long have you been doing it?
the song or
Yeah, the song, the seniors at
yeah.
midfield.
I don't know. I just wanted to have something like we had something before the game. And when you leave Yankee Stadium, you got New York playing, and I was like, we need something to like. New York is stupid. Like, can't play that. It has no relation to it. So, and I was like, what's a good song? And I felt like that builds up everything. Time of your life. And when we first started playing it, we lost a huge game. Like the kids were like, no, turn it off. And I'm like, no. Like it means even more now. Like because that when we lose a big game, it's like it means even more that it's this is all special. Whether we win a championship, whether we lose games, like this, it's the whole picture. And I wanted it to like simplify that
So do you do it? You do it at the end of the game?
at the end of every single home game.
No, but I'm talking about for the seniors.
For the seniors, yeah. It started. I saw Michael Jordan kiss the logo in the middle of the court when he finished playing.
Okay.
And I was like, that's great. I'm a sucker for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we just started doing it. It became like really special. And so the seniors, so I go out and my assistant, John Perani, who's been with me forever, we go out, we hold hands, and then we go down and we kiss the field. We essentially we're thanking Brick Memorial for the great memories. And then sometimes it's a really happy kiss because it's a state tournament and we're moving on. Maybe we're just finished playing at home. Sometimes it's like a sectional championship. And sometimes it's so bitter because it could be at any time during the state tournament. So it has special memories, whether they're great or whether they're bad. It's still what high school sports are all about. It's about the memories and the people you do it with. So it's one of my favorite things we do.
So after all these years, how are you still motivated? How do you still have the energy that you're talking with now? We were off camera earlier, and I could see it and hear it in your voice. What makes you still do it after 32 to 35 years?
I love what I do. I love soccer, but I love Brick Memorial girls soccer more than any team I could ever root for. Like to me, it's just like I said, high school sports to me are special. There's nothing else like that. We had girls that like played on back in the day, played on PDA when there was one PDA, like the Heather O'Reilly like years, and that was it. So we had girls on PDA and win a national championship. Came back and said to me, you know what? Like that was obviously a great moment, great for our soccer careers. Winning a state championship with all the kids we went to high school with and everybody in the stands is a way more special feeling. Obviously, winning a national championship is a way bigger thing, but it's a way special feeling. And I just love the fact that it's where I went to high school. My kids went to high school there. My daughters played on the team. And I'll be honest with you, I hit a little rough patch about 10 years ago where we weren't winning and we were going through hard times, and it did motivate me that my daughters were coming. And that I don't know if I would have retired, but I thought about it at that point. And that it motivated me that like I did all this now. I'm going to stay for my daughters. And then they asked me like, Dad, are you leaving with us? And I'm like, no way. Like, this is fun again. This is fun. I absolutely love being there every day. The local paper asked me for some questions about the alumni game. And I said that there is about probably 5 days of my entire 35 years that I woke up like, you know what? I don't feel like going over to the high school today and going to practice. And like that, five times in 35 years says a lot. And it says more of like the unbelievable coaches I coach with and the girls that I coach. And every day for me is enjoyable. Every single day going there is something special. Like you got to have something in your life besides your family. And obviously my family is the most important thing in my life, but belong to something that's way bigger than you. And it's your passion. And this really is. This is my everything after my family. And that my family were so involved in it. And that my son, even though he's on the boys team, was there. And I went to his games and I helped coach when he was in school. And the boys came to all of our games and the girls went to all of those games. To me, you got to have something. And this is definitely my something. I think I could do, this is your third, I think I could do 10 more years. Maybe we'll see as we get closer, we'll see. It's not the glory years anymore. We're not winning state championships every year. We had our little run, and that might be coming to a close. With a little bit of luck, we could have won 4 sectional championships in the past 4 years, and we didn't. We won 1. We lost in overtime in the finals. We lost games we dominated in PKs in the semifinals. So we could have had a nice little run, but it's honestly not that about that anymore. It's about me and my coaches, who I absolutely love. Other coaches rip on me all the time. It's why do you have so many guys on your staff? And you know why? Because this to me is fun, and I want all my friends to come and do it with me.
Right.
Gunther. Gunther just joined our staff last year or 2 years ago, and he was I heard the boys need coaches, and me and Perani were like, no way. You're coming with us. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love coach. If you don't love coaching girls, you will love coaching girls. And there's nothing we do that is more enjoyable than this. And I say all the time, I know I'm pathetic. I'm like an 80s bad movie stereotype. But
no, man,
this is what I do. I haven't left Brick Memorial. I went to college for 4 years. I coached there for 2 years. And then otherwise, everything in my life revolves around Brick Memorial soccer. And to me, it's the most wonderful thing I could ever do in my life.
No, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I really appreciate it, because I know a lot of people think it's over the top and it's, too much and it's too crazy, and you're too passionate about your program and coaching and what you do. But in today's day and world, you're one of very few.
Yeah. I know I'm too much a lot of the times. And it's funny, we'll have pasta parties, and at the end of the year, the parents will invite me to come. I'm I'm a lot. The girls need a break for me now. They get enough for me at practicing games. I know I'm a lot, but it's just, and I know sometimes I'm a jerk. A lot of times I'm a jerk, but it's just something I just love. I love it so much, and I don't, I know it's not normal. I know it's not, but it's just, it's my greatest joy after my family.
But you know what? If people understand the sport, they understand being on the bench as a coach, they get everything about it, right? And they're around it enough. You're not really a jerk. You're just, you're emphasizing a point. You're making a correction. You're trying to make a kid better. So it's difficult, because not everybody always understands that. They don't want to understand that, right? Especially in today's world of parents in the sporting environment. I totally get it. We coached together for a few years. It's tough, but that passion you can't lose. I still have that passion to this day.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with coaching, but watching. Liverpool FC, Anfield behind me. That's my passion with soccer now. It's what I live and breathe every freaking day. So I completely get it. So a couple of things too. You just had your alumni game.
Yeah.
On Saturday. You said you had 60 to 70 people turn out.
Yeah.
So what you do? Is it men's versus girls, or
no? We do first. We have the girls game, and then we have the boys game. We do even graduation years versus odd graduation years, and then we play the girl. We're going back to originally we played girls half, boys half, girls half, boys half, and then we kind of got away from that. But I think we're going back to that next year because they want to see each other too. They don't really. Most of the times the girls are walking off and maybe a couple of guys are getting there, coming onto the field. So to make it more of a family, so that the players are seeing each other too. We're going to try to get back to that next year.
Do you guys like tailgate in the parking lot after, or you
No,
just go
no, it's
out
still
to
high school.
high
So,
school?
we go out afterwards. We go out afterwards, and it's great though because like if you, I told the girls all the time, like if you're bringing your kids there, they're not sitting in the bleachers. Like I want all the kids on the benches, and I have my current team on the benches and the alumni and their kids, and it's just absolute mayhem during the game. If you asked what the score of the game was, I couldn't even tell you because I watch about 2 minutes of it. It's about catching up with each other and playing with their kids. And it's one of my favorite days of the year. And I'm a Christmas guy, so it's not going to replace Christmas, but it's my second favorite day of the year is Alumni Day.
Yeah, it's not even really a game. It's more of a get together, bring everybody back, see each
Yeah,
other, share
and,
some stories from last year, see who's had a kid,
yeah,
see the kid that's gone. And I assume that you probably have those young kids be the ball boys and the ball girls,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is. It's all about just seeing each other, and I said to like a couple of the kids that were there that we went out to afterwards to the River Rock. I was like, the best thing can happen this game is the soccer becomes horrible because then the old like guys want to go out there and compete and crush each other. Like the guys' alumni game is still pretty intense. 40-year-old women don't want to come out and crush each other in a soccer game. So I feel like the lower the level it gets, like because we're getting old, I feel like the more people are going to want like encourages the older players to come back and we're like girls. This is the state championship teams. Like this is a fun event. Your kids get to watch you play, and that's what we want it to be. Like the soccer doesn't have to be great. When
Yeah.
we started the alumni game, we started the boys game at first, and I want to say maybe the girls a year later, but the boys game we started in the late '90s, and we played the and we're only opened up in 1980, so we played the '80s versus the '90s, and we were all like even the '80s guys were still young enough that we had some intense we had some real games. It wasn't just an alumni game. These were games where guys were battling and beating the crap out of each other, and then which is great, but I want the girls' game not to be that because I want older. I've been there long enough now. A lot of my girls are in their 40s, like
Yeah.
not a lot, but the beginning girls. So I want them coming out and I want them playing and just going out there and being silly and having fun.
So take me way back because I'm pretty sure it was three straight championships,
Yeah,
states.
yeah. It was we won '99, and then we lost in 2000 in the sectional finals in PKs. 2001, we ran into a little buzzsaw called Heather O'Reilly that we lost to East Brunswick 3-0, and she had a day. And we knew that was coming before everybody knew what it was. And she had a day. And then we won 3 in a row, 2002, 3, and 4. And then incredibly, the best team we ever had was probably 2005. And we were 19-0, and it was just one of those games. Like, how many games have you seen in soccer? We outshot them 21-3 or something crazy like that, and ended up losing 2-1
Oh,
on an own goal and a punt that bounced and just ended up in our own end. And you like that is the worst part of my job is picking up 17, 18-year-old girls off the ground when they lose their last game in high school. And it is horrible. Like you have to literally, I am picking them up by the shoulders because they're sitting there sobbing. So this group of girls never lost a game. That senior class won 3 state championships. They were 6-0, 6-0, 6-0 in the state tournament. So they literally lost their first game they ever lost in the state tournament. You talk about a weird banquet. Like we won A South, we won the Shore Conference tournament, and then we ended up losing. And that was our first loss of the season. We were 19-0. Never mind their first state tournament loss. It was the weirdest banquet ever because you're trying to girls, we had a good year. And if anybody else looks, you win the Shore Conference tournament, you win A South, is a great year. And it just wasn't for those girls. It was just a weird setting for that banquet.
well, if they're going for a four-peat and to
Yeah.
lose in that fashion when you dominate the game, it's got to be deflating.
Crushing.
I mean, think
We
of
were
some.
ranked one in the nation at that time too. We were 19-0, one in the nation, going for our 4th state championship. And I call that the second worst day of my life. The worst day of my life was the day my dad died when I was 25. The second worst day of my life was that day. I don't know what the third is, so I guess I got a pretty good life if I only have those 2 days.
But it's got like I'm thinking back when we were coaching the Stampede. I mean, we had some devastating losses that we soured on for a week.
Yeah.
Winning three straight and then losing in that fashion, especially for those girls at that age, 17, 18, just had to be
Oh,
deflating.
crushing. I said the
And
second worst day of my life.
and you guys had to have been cloud nine going into that game, 3-time state champs in a row, 19-0, undefeated, rolling into that game. You know, everybody had to be
Yeah.
confident. I'm not saying overconfident.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like we got to the point, and we're certainly not that now. We were a different, I don't want to say cocky, but we were extremely confident. When we won the game, we won A South, which we kind of rolled through a little bit that year. I made the girls like, you're going to celebrate. You won a champ. Like, because at that point it was getting to like A South was kind of like not a big deal. It's like, yes, it is a big deal. You win your division, it's a big deal, and you're going to celebrate, and you're going to like. I'm making these girls celebrate because all they're thinking is state tournament. Like, and it was a great problem to have, you know. And we won a divisional championship and a sectional championship 2 and 3 years ago, and it's been a while. So it was like, and it was a big accomplishment, and we celebrated like crazy. And it's funny, you think back to those years, like, oh, God, those girls were like, maybe we were cocky at that point, but they were confident and arrogant, and that was part of what made us great back then.
So, you know, what's synonymous with your program is the saying, the hardest working team at the Jersey Shore. Where did that come from?
I stole it, just like 90% of your coaching things. When I was at, so when I played at Stockton, but I left my senior year, the head coach resigned, and then Tim Lenahan, who ended up being the coach at Northwestern, took over that year. And he would always talk about like how we're going to change things. We're going to be the hardest working team in New Jersey this year. And then, so when I got the head coach job at Brick Memorial, I changed it to the hardest working team at the Shore. And I really believe we were at times. One of my good friends who coached with us back then, he was just passed away over the winter, and we had the memorial for him at Manasquan Beach 2 weeks ago. And he wasn't a soccer guy, but he was a coach.
He was the strength and conditioning guy?
Yeah, Joey Leone, big
Okay.
at the Atlantic Club. And he knew nothing about soccer. I mean, matter of fact, when we needed the girls to, like, when we needed a mental day off, I was like, Joe, you're scrimmaging with the girls today. And because he could barely even kick a ball. So it'd be like, give us a little bit of comedic relief. But the things he did with the girls, I mean, I would think like, we're getting arrested this week. Like he would make those girls literally climb mountains. We used to go away to we would call our Mustang retreat up in the mountains, and he would have these girls climbing mountains, doing planks, doing push-ups until they were literally crying. And everybody loved Joey. Everybody loved Joey. No one ever had a bad thing to say. You know, the head coach, I make us do 10 push-ups, and they're like, that jerk. Joey was loved by these girls. He was such a great motivator, and these kids just absolutely adored him, and he put them through hell, and they still loved him.
So another tradition of yours is this retreat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When did this start?
2002, we went again. So Joey Leone, his mother-in-law, worked at a resort in the Catskills. Think Dirty Dancing. And that's where we went. And originally I wanted to do something. I was like, we were talking about it, and I wanted to do something like where we go maybe camping, and like where the kids had to depend on each other and do stuff like to really the team bond. And he was like, dude, he's like, I'm from Staten Island, you're from Bricktown. Neither one of us know anything about camping. He's like, my mother-in-law works at this resort. And we went there for years. And it's really, the girls love it. It's 3 days of being there as a soccer team that has very little to do with soccer. And it's team bonding. And really, we do very little soccer stuff. We'll do some conditioning. We'll do, like, we have a soccer tennis tournament now where the kids, like, dress up and they have to have a uniform of the team, and they dress up like idiots. And it's all about us bonding. And we sit around one night and it's called questions, and it's your greatest day on the soccer field, your worst day on the soccer field, your favorite flavor of ice cream, and just like all these stupid questions, and we learn about each other, especially the new players on the team, and it really became a fun thing. And most years my coaches come with me. It's a fun time, and we call it like whatever. Man, if we have 15 kids on the team, I was like 15 girls go away and they come back as a team, and it really does help build our team. It's a great team building activity, and we do a lot of team building stuff where you're walking blindfold through the beach, and your partner has to walk you through without touching you. So it's a lot of like leadership skills and team bonding stuff, and it's a fun and great building method for our program.
And you do it now in AC, right?
We've been all over the place. We're back at AC now. We were in the Poconos the last few years. We've been to the Catskills. We started off going forever. We went to a girls' scout camp we found one year. We try, like, when we find a place, we went to up the road in Herbertsville with that camp. I forget what it's called. Like, we try to find a place and stick to it. And then we were going to AC for a couple years, and then the guy's house that we stayed in sold it. So we didn't have a place to go into the Poconos. And now we found, and it's great. And my team moms are awesome. They come with us. They cook. So like, we don't have to worry about all that stuff. And it really is. It's a strong building block for our team and for the difficult days ahead of preseason.
Now, let me ask you, because we're friends on social media, and I see all your posts all the time. You guys start so early in the summer.
Yeah, honestly, that's what high school sports are now. High school sports, there's a summer period now. So essentially from whatever date they determine in June till I believe it ends the end of July is an open period now. And you can essentially, it's the wild, wild west, to an extent. You can any team can practice in that window now. And now, like back when we played, I used to play in New Jersey, but we started essentially, when I first started coaching, August 20th or whatever that Monday was around August 20th. And that's when you started. And you had 2 weeks to get your team ready to go. So now we started this year the 15th, and we'll go 2 days up until our tournament, which is August 9th. Then we'll go 3 days. And then after that, it's every day. But that's what it is. It's almost if you don't do that, you're behind. So, and it does. And people are always like, oh, high school soccer, you're running so much. I have my team for 2 months before our first game. Like, I feel like I'm doing a disservice if we don't do a lot in running. Like, when we coached the Stampede, we never ran. We never ran because you had 2 days a week and you need to get, obviously, touches in. But now I have my team for 2 months. So, yeah, we run a lot because we have them for 2 months building up to that point.
So tell me about this tournament, because this is another tradition of
this one, we're in our 22nd year, actually. We started as just looking to pick up some scrimmages. There was a ton of boys preseason tournaments that I saw when our boys teams always went, and there was nothing for the girls really. There was maybe 1 or 2 in the entire state. So we decided to do something where selfishly it would give us some preseason games to evaluate our teams before technically preseason starts. And also another fun day to hang out with our girls and our coaches and build. So it started off a Saturday and Sunday, the first week in August, and we had about 8 teams. And then we built it up. I kept, sending out emails, there was no emails when we first started, but, sending out emails now. And we got up to 22 last year, which is our biggest tournament. And we're close. I think we're 28 or 29 this year. So and we moved it to 1 day, and it used to be 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. We moved it to 1 day. You play essentially 4 mini games or 4 halves. So 2 games, and it's a great chance most teams bring a ton of kids. You don't have your varsity team picked yet. And it's another fun day. We do it. Twin County's been great. We've been doing it there we did it the first year at Vets. and we drew out all the fields. And Pat Kearns at the time was the president of Twin County. He's like, dude, like these fields are not good. You have to go. You have to bring it over to Drum Point. And that's when we started doing it there. And then we've been with them. We've been with Twin County ever since. And it's another fun day. Like it's like high school sports are supposed to be fun. They really are. Like, yes, we want to be good and we want to compete, but you're playing with your friends. Like, and it's just, to me, there's something special about high school sports. Maybe because when I played, high school soccer was way bigger than club soccer. You play club soccer back in the 80s to get ready for high school soccer. And I'm probably still stuck on that. And maybe that's why I make such a big deal of it. But to me, there's nothing fun. Like I loved going to watch my kids play in other sports. And my wife and I had a blast. And when my son played like I knew soccer would hit me. I knew soccer would crush me because that's our family's sport. That's our family's love. But it surprised me how much his last baseball game hit me. And then I knew like he was done. He was done playing sports for Brick Memorial. And then my daughter's last basketball game, I was like, Lisa and I were like, holy cow, we're done being Brick Memorial parents. Like I couldn't wait. Most kids want like get those little kid years back. Not me. I couldn't wait for my kids to put on green and gold uniforms. And that was, to me, that was the best part of my life as a parent. Never mind as a coach, as a parent. My kids playing for Brick Memorial was so special. And I don't even remember what I was talking. I don't even remember how I got on this topic. How was I even talking about it?
We were talking about the one-day tournament.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I remember being in high school, and we had one of those. It wasn't to the magnitude of yours. It was basically a round robin with a couple of other small New England prep schools that would come to my school. We'd play three games in a day. I don't know, 20-minute halves, whatever. But I got to tell you, man, that was what I looked forward to the most, was that day, preseason.
Yeah.
We've put in a couple of weeks of work, and let's see what we got. And there was no pressure on you. And it was just simple to show up, lace up your boots, and go have fun. Like, I miss those days. I remember those days.
Yeah.
So like, it's great that you do it. It's great that what's the farthest that a team comes from to come and do this thing?
We have this year, we have the biggest group of out of shore conference teams we've had in a while. We have Absegami, Scotch Plains, Fanwood, and Watchung Hills have been coming forever. We have JP Stevens this year. So we have it. I really went out made an effort this year to get more emails out to the entire state and not just the shore conference, because it makes it better for us. When we first started the tournament, like I had to text all the coaches and tell them, like, we're going to end up playing each other, the teams in A South and in B South. There's not enough out of division teams for it not to happen. So now we try to really eliminate anything in division the best we can. It still happens here and there. But the more out-of-area teams we get, it's great. I mean, Eastern, who's one of the best teams in New Jersey every year, he's been coming forever. So it's fun to play teams from out of the area, too.
Nice. Yeah, my kids never ended up making it to play soccer in high school. They chose lacrosse, whatever. But, like, is it home and away? Like, do you play Jackson Memorial home and away, Southern home
Not anymore.
and away?
We used to. They changed it. Everything. I've been there so long. Everything blends together now. It might have been 8-9 years now. They changed it to just one time each through the division, and I kind of like it because you see a lot more teams in the short conference. You play more division games. The problem with it is, and we don't have this problem anymore. We had it back in the day. We would have. The really good teams have a hard time picking up games, so it's hard for Friel Township just won 3 state championships in the past few years, or 4, whatever it is. And it's hard for them to pick up games because, who wants to pick up a game where you're most likely going to get crushed in your regular season? So I see both sides of it because we've been the program that was on the top of the mountain, and we've been the program that's literally been at the bottom of the mountain. 7 years ago, we won 2 games. We were the second worst team in the Shore Conference division. And it was rough. The only thing that gave us hope, we started 6 freshmen that year. And that was kind of the catalyst that built up to us getting good again. So it's like I totally get both sides of the coin.
So going back to this whole travel thing, and going back to what you said earlier, you use travel to get ready for high school.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not that way anymore? Like, are these players taking a preference, thinking that club is more important?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it is because you're getting recruited at a club. If I see a college coach at one of my games, it's probably a secondary look. They probably already decided on that kid, and they're taking him, or they're just you know about to decide. So it's always a second look, and I understand that. We've had a few players that chose not to play high school soccer, not a lot, but a couple. Leah Scarpelli was playing on the national team at the time.
Mhm.
So there's a kid that that should have played. She played 1 year for us, but I get that. She's a one percenter. But everyone else, I think it's a great experience. And even those kids that are playing in a high level club never treated Brick Memorial Soccer. I can only speak for our school. Never treated as a second class thing. They always treat it as this is important. And I think they saw like how we treat it, how the coaches treat it, how the alumni come back. And like in the state tournament, we have a ton of alumni back watching games. And I think that was a big part of it, that we don't treat this like it's second class. So don't you. I get where your college scholarship is coming from, and I understand that. But so I think that's the way it is now.
Does it help you having these girls come in? Like, I'll go back to seventh, eighth grade year of the Stampede, and we had all those super talented girls,
Mm-hmm.
and you were getting a handful of them, especially your two daughters coming up into the program. But is that travel atmosphere helping your program sooner? Like, are you playing more freshmen and varsitying more
Yeah.
freshmen because of the travel?
Yeah. You're playing, it's never going to hurt you playing at a high level,
Right. Yeah.
And when you have the kids playing at the really high level at the best teams in the state, obviously they come in and they're better players. But I will tell you what this is my personal belief. I think boys and girls sports, one of the big differences, a 15-year-old girl is not that different than an 18-year-old girl. So we play a lot of freshmen. Like, a lot of freshmen go to start because physical, there's not a big difference there.
Yeah.
A 14, 15-year-old boy and an 18-year-old boy is day and night.
Oh, yeah.
Day and night. So we don't see that big physical difference. So if you're a player a lot of times, and you still might get pushed off the ball a little bit, but not like it is a boys' sport. So you do see a lot more girls contributing right away as freshmen.
So another huge tradition of yours, Rudy.
Yeah. Yeah. Another, like, so many of these traditions are just stupid. Like, they just came out of nowhere. So when we first started, I had the team over for dinner every night. Not every night. Dinner before the first game every year. My wife would kill me. Dinner every night. So we would have a pasta party before the first night. Because when I was in high school, we did a lot. My parents did it. And again, I think even as a kid, I was a little bit too much. So I didn't want just the team to go over dinner. We would watch Rocky before, like something motivating before. Like, I'd have them come right from school and watch Rocky. And then my mom would make a big Italian dinner. And then we go right to the field. And so I wanted something like that. And at the time, Rudy had just like come on pay-per-view or something. It had just come out when I first started. I think it came out in like 95 or 96, and I got the job in 95. So it started my second year. And we just started watching it. And then as it became not a Vogue movie, and the kids, I said, what do you mean you never saw Rocky? I mean, never saw Rudy. So we would come. And so now every year we come to my house. My wife makes dinner before the night before the first game, and we watch Rudy. And then if we ever lucky enough to make it to a state championship, we come over again. My wife makes dinner, and we watch Hoosiers, which has only happened 4 times, but still, yeah. But Rudy's a fun one because I could just post on my Facebook page like a picture of the screen of Rudy, and like, and all my former players like, must be opening day tomorrow. So
You've been doing that for 30 years?
Yeah, and so yeah,
Wow.
my second or third year, we started Rudy.
Wow. And now,
Yeah.
like in today's like with the classes that you're getting to come in now, do any of these girls have an idea of what Rudy is?
No, most of them never saw it in their lives. Most of them, like even my daughters, like, because I made them say they're the only ones at the team that ever knew what Rudy was because they would sit in the back and yeah, no, none of them saw it. None of them. It was like
Now
Rudy,
do you
what the
make
heck is that?
now do you make them turn their cell phones off
Oh
to
yeah,
pay
oh yeah,
attention?
yep, oh yeah. And when we go on the retreat, cell phones are not allowed. I allowed a little bit more now because I do to take pictures, but we'll have a lot of the retreat is put your cell phone in your room. This
Good,
is about we're going 1980s style. We're going to sit here at dinner and we're going to talk to each other.
good. I like that. No, I think the whole thing with the Rudy having that movie night, especially the night before opening day, it's awesome. It's great. It's fascinating. I think it's really, really good, and I really think it ties into that whole culture, family bond
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to build. Because we all know the movie has nothing to do about soccer,
No, no, nothing at all. Yeah.
but there's other meanings behind it. Just like with Ted Lasso, that's what I think Ted Lasso is so great. It's not about the corny soccer and all that crap. It's the read between the lines and the
Yeah.
meanings and what really makes things special. So it's just another. Are there any other traditions that I'm not aware of that you guys have been doing for years?
Yeah, we have another one that's kind of got a good story to it. We have every game we bring the Mustang 2x4. And it's literally a 2x4 painted green and it says Mustang 2x4 on it. And it originated 2002, I want to say it was. And we were I was just talking in practice and I was like we have to have the mentality of we're coming out here with a 2x4 and we're just smacking you in the head at the opening whistle with a 2x4. And then, like, obviously, it was a metaphor. Like, we're not going to hit anybody with a 2x4. And the next game, I don't remember, it was the next day or a couple days later, for Crystal Strada, who played for us. I don't know if she did it or her dad did it. She painted the 2x4 and brought it, and it's been at every single game since 2002. And it sits on the bench, and it goes to like the kid that simplifies whacking somebody with a 2x4. They're the kid that carries it out onto the field every game. And it's pretty beat up now. It's like so when you're walking with it, the whole sides are curved now. It's no longer square on the end. So that's one of our fun ones. And it's been like there's been on like when group chats and stuff about it, how like I'm encouraging violence and everything. I'm like parents complaining. I'm like, we're not hitting any, I promise you we're not hitting anybody with a 2x4. Like we want that mentality, but we're not going to hit anybody with a 2x4.
Now, is it awarded every game, or do you
Now,
bestow it upon somebody at the beginning of the season?
I don't. The player that like one player brings it out for the whole season, and they might have gotten it their junior year or their sophomore year, and until they graduate, they carry it onto the field, and then they decide who's the next kid
I
that's
like
gonna
that. I like that a lot.
pass it on. Who's the kid that's gonna has that 2x4 mentality?
I like that. I didn't know about that one, but that
Yeah,
might be my favorite one, to be
that's a
honest
fun
with
one.
you.
One of the parents one year made a little one too that sits in the trophy case at the high school.
So I got two more things for you. The
Sure.
next one is the wall
Yeah.
in your office. Tell me what that's about.
Uh How that came about, I have no idea. I have no idea how that came into it. But we call it our legacy wall. And every kid that ever played for us gets literally a cinder block. And they write their name, their number, and a message that they want. Like, and so now literally it's been 30 something 32 years where like these are grown women now and they have their cinder blocks on the wall. And I didn't think of it until 3 or 4 years into becoming the head coach. So I went back and I put every kid that ever played for me. So the wall isn't technically everybody that played for Brick Memorial. It's everybody that played for me. And then I went back and put all their names. And most of those kids in the first 3 or 4 years all came back after they graduated high school and signed their block. And we just finished our third wall in my office at the high school, and we're onto our fourth wall right now. And then probably when we finish that wall, it'll be the next head coach's problem. I think that might be the end of it for me. But it's a fun, like it's a cool tradition.
So now when you finish this fourth wall, where's the next wall going to be?
Probably out in the hallway of so my office is actually, it's by the entrance to the girl locker room, but not technically in it, so I could be in there and whatnot. So there's a little hall, like a little mini hallway. I guess we'll go outside in there. Again, who knows? Maybe I'll be there, but it might be the next guy's problem.
I'm surprised in all these years you haven't finished up all those walls.
Yeah, it's a lot of bricks. It's a lot of bricks.
Yeah, but you had a lot of what do you usually roster like 16 to 18 girls?
Yeah. So we usually like around 5-6 seniors a year.
Okay.
So it is. It's that's a cool tradition. Like it's like, and now it's become much more elaborate. Like the kid when we first started, or like it'd be like right after their last game, we'd have the kids do it. So they didn't give it a lot of thought, and they would just write whatever came to their mind. Like, and now, like my daughters knew about it for 18 years before they did theirs. So like now the kids give it a lot of thought, and we do when we turn in our uniforms, so they have more time to think about it, and they come in with some nice quotes, and the wall's a lot more, each brick is a lot more elaborate now.
Nice. And then the last thing I want to finish with, and this has got to probably mean the most to you, but what was it like to be able to coach? Now, nobody knows, but you have twin daughters.
Yeah.
What was it like to be able to be their head coach in high school? Like, what was that for?
Yeah.
Like for you and for them?
It was hard for them. It was hard for them because I definitely yelled at my daughters way more than anybody else because I never wanted that perception of I was favoring. So there was definitely a lot of negatives for them, and I think they felt the pressure. Lexi's freshman year, she scored the winning goal, and it was COVID year, so it wasn't even the state tournament. It was whatever we were calling it that year. Scores the winning goal, and she came off. I didn't even high five her because I didn't want anyone to think I was favoring her. And that was the only time I feel like my wife ever really got mad at me. It's like, you didn't even give your daughter a high five. But those are the lows. The absolute high, I loved coaching them every day and going with them when they were freshmen and sophomores driving to practice. By their junior year, they were too cool to drive with me. But their junior year, we lose to Middletown South in second overtime of the sectional championship game. So their senior year, we win the exact same field, almost the exact same time in double overtime at Middletown South. And to share that with my daughters, and we've won bigger games than that. Like I said, we've won state championship. But to share that with my daughters and throw in the fact the way we lost the year before, and share it with my best friend, John Perani's been coaching with me forever. And he's me as godfather. And the coach is like my family. But the share, and like, so for me, JP, and Lexi and me, like that are truly family, it was the best thing that's happened on a soccer field to me in my life. And Mia actually left the crowd, left the team celebrating, and sprinted across the field and sprinted in my arms. And it was like that made up for all the hard things about coaching your daughters. And I think for them, all the stuff like dad's a jerk, and they have to listen to other kids say, like, I love my high school coach more than anything in the world. And if you don't think I MF'd him out every day he made us run, like, and I love that man. So Lexi and Mia had to be there. They were probably chiming in on, your dad's a jerk. But they had to deal with that, and they had to deal with me. And I think that moment made every negative. And there wasn't, I make it sound worse than it was. There was a lot more positives than negatives. But I think that moment made it worth every difficult second we had together.
Yeah, and I get it. Like with the outside looking in, I coached, Lila with you. I coached your girls with you. I coached Henry for a long time in both soccer and lacrosse. And I always had that optic from people on the out. And I was always the toughest on my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'll share this story with you with Henry's soccer team. We were in some state cup, and we had to travel up to Wyckoff up in Bergen County on a Friday night to play in this state cup game. And Henry didn't start. And Jen's texting me from the sidelines, what the F? Why isn't he in the starting lineup? And I said, he missed practice yesterday. And she was like, well, I don't care. And I said, well, I care because I said the biggest thing that I took away from my high school coach that I still talk to today, he's 80 years old, is that I don't care what the excuse is. You missed a practice before a game, and if you're a start, whether you're a starter or not, you're not starting. And I remember when I was in high school, my mother made a doctor's appointment for me, and
Mhm.
it was the day before one of our biggest games. And I'm at the field and I'm warming up, and Coach Enlow comes over to me and he was like, "Link, you know you're not starting today, right?" And I looked at him and I'm like, "Are you effing kidding me?" He was like, "You missed practice."
Yeah.
I was like, "Coach, doctor," he was like, "You know the rule. I don't care."
Right.
And I had to start the first 5, 6 minutes on the bench, and it killed me. And I was like turning around, looking at my mother, giving her the look of death. And I'm like, "You ever do this again?" Like, but I get it. So, but oh yeah, that must have been an amazing, amazing feeling.
Yeah. It was the greatest night of my life. It really was. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was something special. And I'm sure a lot of the stuff the other parents thought. I mean, I know it was there, but I'm sure I made it worse in my head and probably in my own mind made it more than it was. But either way, I never wanted anybody to accuse me of being favorites with my kids. They were
Yeah.
always the first forward out was Lexi, first midfielder out was Mia. It just
And
made life easier for everybody.
we worked together on the sidelines. You saw how hard I was. I don't know if you remember when we
Mhm.
were down in Virginia when I freaking screamed at her across the field and she just started crying. She wouldn't even
Yeah,
get in the car to go back to the hotel with me. But like I always feel you have to coach your kid or kids the hardest because that sets the precedent for the rest of the team.
yeah.
That
I sorry. Go ahead.
if those other players see the dad being that hard on his kids, they're like, "Damn, like this guy, he cares. He
Yeah.
wants to do what's best for us, for the team, win, lose, whatever, but he wants to get the best out of each and every one of us."
Yeah, I've been total jerks to my daughter, and then turn to the referee and go, "It's okay, she's mine." Like that's my kid. I don't treat the rest of the kids like this.
Well, BC, we're up against it. I appreciate the hour. Appreciate the time
Hey,
coming on. We'll have you on again if you want to come back on. I had a lot of fun.
yeah, it was great. I thank you for having me. It's an honor, and and anybody ever want ask my wife. Anybody ever wants to talk Brick Memorial sports, Brick Memorial girls soccer? I'm up. Me and my buddies, me and my pals, we're up for hours to do it.
All right, everybody. That's it for today's edition. Follow us on Kicking It Back with Matt on X and on Instagram. We'll see you next week. Take care.
So long.